I will speak a little bit about Russia, but first I would just like to remember some insight from Russian economics, and I think that we should mention Ludwig von Mises. I think that we had to mention Ludwig von Mises' theory about the economic cycle, because this cycle is a typical illustration of what is happening now.
The black one is recording.
Oh, and now? Now it's good? No. Why not? So actually it's good?
I think you need this one.
Why this? So I should move now. So my first idea was to speak directly about the economic situation in Russia, but now I consider that Ludwig von Mises was not mentioned so often here in this seminar, so I would just to remember the theory of Austrian theory of crisis. This theory was built at the beginning of 20th century, and this theory maybe is one of the best who is going to explain what is happening now actually. The main lesson from this theory is that the money is not the capital, that the money is not investment, and the real investment and the real capital is a real saving. So if at the economy there is no real saving, you cannot do growth, the economy and investment. The second lesson from this theory of economic cycle is that discretionary monetary policy is very dangerous, because in case of injecting liquidity, the market level are low, below the natural level of interest rate, and in this case I should take probably.
Yeah.
So in this case, the interest rate, the market interest rate, will be leveled by the neighbor interest rate. It will be a huge liquidity injection in money into the economic system. It's followed the deformation of the price structure, and then if a deformation of investment structure, and a lot of investments done completely inefficiency, and there was a redistributional project. And in the end of this cycle, we have a deep cycle who start with inflation and who finish with deflation. But this cycle was built even before the Great Depression, and as I know, Mises and Hayek, they try to discover, and they get a very good forecast of this kinds of crisis, comparing to Mitchell, Fisher, and even Keynes. But now, turning to Russia, I think that Russia is not so often mentioned that the journal, but the situation in Russia is almost similar as the situation in the United States, and I have some hypotheses that the situation is even more dangerous, because what happened in Russia, I see that the future is Russia if you have such kind of disturbance like in United States, but this disturbance should be resolved by Putin. It will be a very dictatorial solution, and maybe this what happened in Georgia now is one example of the post-imperialist, let's say, manner to solve the problem of Russian economy. I can just say that in Russia it's the first capitalist crisis. 10 years ago there was a crisis of transition, so it's a crisis of public debt. It was a lot of banditism, robbery, etc., the huge redistribution of resources, but actually they have almost structured market economy, and then for Russian generation, especially for Russian business, it will be the first speculative boom and the first, let's say, cycle they should to afford. I show some figures, and then you can see that absolutely the system in Russia, from the macro point of main macro variable, and from the point of action of Putin, it's almost similar. So we are going to the next slide. And then I explained that the basic situation is Russia, they have a huge of monetary supply given by the oil receipt, but the saving and investment preference in Russia are the same. So this is a huge injection of money in the Russian economy, and this injection in money was injected to the long-term investment project, especially of the pipeline in Black Sea, Nord Stream, South Stream. They have now a huge project to do some new pipeline for linking China with Russia. It's a very long-term investment, and generally there is not efficiency investment. In this time, we can see the Central Bank of Russia, they are going to decline all the time the interest rate. There is a huge liquidity in the Russian economy, and this huge liquidity, a lot of debt, but this time is corporate debt, is not a public debt like 10 years ago. And in the same time, this injection of money is combined by the lack of competition, especially of an energy sector, especially of the banking sector. The banking sector is completely monopolized by 5 or 6 banks, state-guaranteed implicit bank, which is completely similar to these two insurance companies in the United States. They have the same structure of insurance market at the United States, and they have a lot of let's say, credit boom, stock market boom, mortgage boom, the boom of market of houses, etc. And all this is due because they have a lot of money.